One of the joys of The Informer is we get a chance to catch up with the Lord Mayor. Sally Capp is back in the studio. Sally, welcome back. Last time you and I were talking, you were saying to me, we've done all we can. We're just about getting the city ready to roll again because they're going to ease the restrictions. What's happened?
Well, we were excited, weren't we?
It's
interesting.
over the moon.
Yeah, we were really gearing up for the 20, then 20 to 50. And people had been so well behaved.
And compliant.
And compliant, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
And now we find ourselves in a situation where we weren't able to go up to that next stage of easing restrictions. And I just have my fingers crossed, of course, more than that, huge amount of action across the city to give confidence to people and to the Premier, the state government, that they can trust us. And I think that the identification of hotspots has been interesting. But I know that within the environment of our restaurants, for example, it's so controlled that the owners are going to so much trouble to make sure that not only are they compliant, they can help everybody who comes into their restaurants be compliant. And I think in those controlled environments, we should keep supporting them, and we should say these are effective ways of people being able to support their local businesses, but to do it safely.
I concur 100% because we went out recently to take advantage of the easing of restrictions, and we actually went out to a luncheon first of all, and then a dinner. And the first thing I noted, the minute you walk in, you can see that there's social distancing being controlled. 2, we were required to register.
Yes.
Details, contacts, not every detail, but your name and your phone number. So in the event that they need to track you down, they can. So, and that automatically, most of the things were done with the flick of a switch, and you're verified. Away you go, enjoy your lunch or your dinner. And we watched the businesses run seamlessly, and it was a joy actually to be social again.
Yeah, lovely.
Yeah, it was terrific stuff. But now we've got again a further lockdown being introduced by the state government, and we've seen for the very first time, in Victoria especially, the arrival of troops. I think it's tomorrow. They arrive, about 1,000 members of the ADF, and their job is to oversee, because they've been seasoned professionals and really understand the COVID protocols, and they've been rolling it out across Australia, and suddenly it looks like Victoria has said we need some assistance. So are we going to be seeing them on the streets of the city, and especially monitoring the movements of people who are quarantined at our hotels in the city?
So that is my understanding. In the city, we'll certainly see them, just to make sure that in those hotels where people are quarantined, that all of the compliance is adhered to. I believe they'll also be checking in on, the tracing and the testing is shown in many cities, not just in Australia, but around the world, to be an effective way of managing the spread of the virus. And so my understanding is, as they've been doing in other states, just visiting and monitoring the movements. And we have seen just in our recent second wave, if you like, that some of it is being traced back to the fact that we've perhaps relaxed too much in our home environments. And it's natural. We've been through weeks, months of being vigilant.
3 or 4 months.
And I think, this is really sending a very clear message, isn't it? That we have to maintain that vigilance if we want to see ourselves move into the easing of restrictions. But I know, as the Lord Mayor of the city, that what is so vital is that people understand that the consequences of their personal actions have major impacts on the businesses, family businesses, sole operators, retail, hospitality, lots of service businesses that are going to find it even more challenging to survive if we can't be more disciplined about our personal behaviour. So that's a really big shout out, because sometimes I don't think people think of the downstream consequences, and the fact that our restaurants couldn't move from 20 to 50, the fact that bars
still can't function.
And then that has the flow-on effect. In the city, retail and hospitality work like this.
Yes, correct.
And then, of course, cultural attractions around that.
And we should add also that Victoria, and especially Melbourne, has had the biggest growth in this nightlife scene than any other precinct or city in the country. And that's a huge queue, and kudos to all those involved in the business. And here they are with their hands tied behind their backs, not knowing what tomorrow will bring them. And you've had a chance to meet with them. Some of the stories must be really difficult to take when you realise that some of them have signed, I suppose, a lease, and only days before the COVID-19 closed down basically any idea of business.
That's right. And as part of our work towards stimulating the economy, but really also as monitoring how people are going through this sort of survival phase, we've been having a number of forums via Zoom, of course, or other technology platforms. And this week we had a focus on live music venues. And it's really...
Is there light at the end of the tunnel?
Heartbreaking. I have to believe there is light at the end of the tunnel, and that's part of our job.
Is that why you went and DJ'd last night?
I did do my first ever and probably only ever public DJ set last night.
Can you
wasn't without incident.
For those of us who weren't there
at
the Cherry Bar, can you just give us an idea what it looked like?
Well, this is a great example of where there weren't hordes of people. It was great to see Dylan, the bouncer, out the front though, just in case people tried to knock down the doors to get in, which they didn't. Everyone was well behaved. That venue that would normally in upstairs might have 200 people in sort of a mosh pit environment going crazy over live music. There were 20 people sitting in a very well behaved manner around tables. They're the regulations. James Young has done a great job in his team of trying to make it work. I've no doubt it's costing him more than he is making. And he actually said to me last night, never have so many worked so hard for so few dollars.
Wow.
But nonetheless, it is the sense of a pulse. The heartbeat of our city comes in many shapes and forms, and there's no doubt that that live music scene is a really important part of it. And for our nighttime economy, when normally you'd come out onto the street at 11:30 at night and you'd still see lots of people moving around the city, for it to be almost empty is really a sign of our times. I think it's a sign that we are listening, but we can support businesses that are trying their best to bring back that heartbeat, that soul to our city. I encourage people to get involved. Brilliantly done, completely safe, very controlled, and to hear Phil Parra going crazy on the guitar live after my DJ set
was a blessing.
Really fantastic, yeah.